Because without deciding that I want to do something, I'm not doing anything. Make a decision that you no longer want to feel how you feel.
Is much of that identity, like the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves sort of circulates around us. It becomes this instruction manual for everything we do, believe, and think of ourselves. And that is ultimately like the story of Stephen Bartlett that I have authored based on everything I interpreted that happened in my life. Things happen, I write a new line into my self-story about who Steve Bartlett is because of that. Mm-hmm. And then I use that as my instruction manual for forward sort of facing behavior.
I think one of the most interesting experts to talk to about that topic is, I think his first name is Dr. Paul Conti from Stanford. I know his last name is Dr. Conti, but I just interviewed him for our podcast, and his work is all on the inner voice and the subconscious, and that there is this narrative that you have that you may not even be aware is talking to you all the time. And when you start to turn toward what that self-critic is saying, you know, you're never good enough. Why'd you screw that up? And you start to examine what it's telling you. It would be as if I was walking behind you, Stephen, all day long going, boy, you really suck and you blew that. And my God, you're never going to amount to anything. And you're going to be alone and you're going to do this. And it's not, and we do it to ourselves. And so, yes, your self-talk, which is probably buried somewhere very deep. This is not my area of expertise in terms of psychiatry or neuroscience, but we just interviewed him and it was fascinating, is informing what you think about yourself. And of course, what you think about yourself then drives the things that you do. Is it thought-driven or behavior-driven? Is it nervous system-driven first? Is it subconscious-driven first? Here's what I know. I know that until you make a decision that you no longer want to feel how you feel, or you no longer want to think the way that you think, or you no longer want to have the kind of results or no results that you have, until you make that decision that, you know what? I know I don't feel great. I know I doubt myself. I know I've had a lot of bad things happen. I know there's a lot that I regret, but damn it, with the time that I have left in my life, I really want to start to enjoy myself. I want to take better care of myself. I want to feel happy. You don't even have to believe you deserve it yet. You can just want it. You've got to start there. You've got to start with wanting something better for yourself. And then I personally think the most important thing is to start acting like the person who has the things that you want right now, even though you don't feel like it. And the reason why I personally prefer to hack this change of going, okay, I want to, here's something that I am working on right now. So I'm 55 years old. I'm in the middle of menopause. It's a complete nightmare. And I feel as out of control with my body as I did when I was pregnant with one of our 3 kids. Like, everything's changing. It's really confusing to figure out what's going on. I could go on and on and on about this as somebody who's in the middle of it, trying to figure out what to do around my changing hormones and how to get better control of my health. And so what do? I feel a little discouraged right now. I don't really know what to do. I just know I don't like how my body is feeling and how it's changing. And so I make a decision and a commitment to myself that I want to feel better. I want to understand this. And so that decision is super important, because without deciding that I want to do something, I'm not doing anything. And then I start to study all of the experts and what people have to say about this topic of hormone balance and gut health and women's health and how to regulate your hormones naturally and what to, like, there's just so much information out there. And then I make a decision. Okay, well, what are the 2 or 3 things that I'm going to do? And then I start doing it. And I wake up every day and I do those things, even if I don't feel like it, even if my self-talk is pretty poor. And here's what happens over time, for me personally, is if I see myself taking actions consistent with somebody who exercises, or somebody who is taking care of her hormone health, or somebody who is not drinking, or somebody who is writing a book, if I see myself taking those actions, it changes the way that I look at myself. The action first approach is what I personally believe in because I think it works faster.